Hi, I am Sanjay Patel. We have introduced the concept of quotient ring in our previous lecture. Now in this lecture, I am going to prove that the quotient ring R mod I is in fact a ring. You know, if you want to prove a set is a ring or something is a ring, then you need a set and two operations. One is called addition and multiplication. Let us quickly recall what is the meaning of quotient ring. To define a quotient ring, first of all, we must have some ring. So R plus dot is an arbitrary ring, we don't know. And we also must have some ideal in the ring R. So suppose I is an ideal in the ring R. You know what is an ideal? So I is an ideal in the ring R, and then we define the set R mod I as the set of all distinct right cosets or left cosets of I in R. So it is set of all elements of the form I plus A where A belongs to R. Okay, and this set is known as quotient ring. This set is known as quotient ring. To prove that this is in fact a ring, I need to have two operations in R mod I. Remember, the elements of R mod I are not simple numbers or single elements. They are sets. Each of the set of the form I plus A is a coset, and you know what is this coset? It is a set of elements of the form x plus A for different x belongs to I. So this is called right coset, and we collect all such sets and put it in this set, and that set is our R mod I. So to define addition and multiplication in this set, I need to take two such elements, means two such cosets from the set R mod I. So if I choose I plus A and I plus B belongs to the set R mod I, that is the quotient ring which we call, then I want to define two operations. One is addition and other is multiplication. Now what is the natural way to define the addition of such two elements? You can understand that if I write plus between this plus, see there are too many plus symbols, 1, 2 and 3, but it is clear from the context that what is the meaning of which plus. Like this I plus A is a notation for the coset, while this plus, which is written between the two different cosets, so it is the sum of two cosets, or you can say addition of the cosets. And I want that when you take two elements from R mod I and add them, then the resultant element also must be an element of the ring R mod I. I mean the set R mod I. So I should have another coset which can be defined using these two cosets. So the natural way I can take is I plus A plus B. Remember, in the coset I plus A, this A is always an element of the ring R. Okay, it is some fixed element of the ring R. So if you have A and B, two elements of R, then A plus B also belongs to R. So this plus, what you see here, this plus is the addition in the ring R. Okay, while this plus is the sum of two cosets. So this plus is the addition of the new set R mod I. The same way we can define say multiplication also. So I plus A dot I plus B, naturally we can define another coset which can be obtained by multiplying this A and B. And remember, A and B are elements of the ring, so A dot B is also an element of the ring R. So here this dot is the multiplication of the ring R, while this dot this multiplication operation this operation is the multiplication operation in the new set R mod I, which we wanted to which you want to make into a ring. Okay. Now before I prove that the set R mod I is a ring with respect to these two operations of addition and multiplication, just note one important thing, that a coset can be represented in many different ways. Why? Because say if you have an element, some element in the set I plus a, suppose if I take some element a dash belongs to I plus a, then I know that I plus a, this coset is same as I plus a dash. So a given coset you can write in many ways. Just take any element in that coset and again form a coset with the same element, and you will get the same coset. Okay. This is known to you from group theory. It is the same result from group theory. In group we are writing this way: if B belongs to a right coset HA, then we have the right coset of H by A is same as right coset of H by B. So I am using this result. It is true both the ways. Okay, so that is the meaning here. So representation of coset is not unique. The same coset you can represent in many ways. So our definition seems to be, say, one has to check the validity of this definition, because it should not depend on the different way of writing the same set. Suppose if I write I plus a in this case, but if I change this I plus a and take I plus a dash, then I must get the same value here in the sum. In short, before we proceed, we must prove that the operations which we have defined here are valid, or it is independent of representation of the coset. So I want to prove that thing first. So very important statement, which I am not going to include in my proof, of the fact that R mod I is a ring. So just a very important remark: the above definition of say plus and dot in the set R mod I is independent of the representation of the coset. Hence the definition of addition and multiplication is valid. So we are going to prove that these two definitions does not depend upon the way you write the given coset. So what is the meaning of that mathematically? Let us prove that. So what I mean to say is this, that is, if we have the coset I plus a, which is same as another representation of this coset as I plus a dash, and we have the coset I plus b as also a different representation I plus b dash. Okay, you know how is it possible? I have already explained. Then we must prove that whether you add the two cosets I plus a and I plus b, or if you add their other representations I plus a dash and I plus b dash, then you must get the same result. The same way for multiplication also we wanted to prove the same thing. That is, if you multiply the two given cosets I plus a and I plus b, or if you multiply the other representations, that is I plus a dash and I plus b dash, then again you will get the same results. To prove this, the first one is, we'll start with the first one, which is very easy. So the proof of this, we have I plus a is equal to I plus a dash, right? We have I plus a is equal to I plus a dash. So this implies I can write A minus A dash belongs to I. Because you know that if two cosets are same, HA is equal to HB in group, then A star B inverse belongs to H. A star B inverse belongs to H. Okay, but here star is addition and B inverse means the inverse of B with respect to plus. So it is minus. So we'll get A minus B belongs to H in our case. And H is I in this case. Same way, similarly, I plus B is equal to I plus B dash gives you B minus B dash belongs to I. Okay. So from this two observations, we know that this is an element of I, this is also an element of I, and I is an ideal. But I is an ideal, so the sum of these two is also an element of I. So I can say A minus A dash plus B minus B dash also belongs to I. But this AB and A dash B dash all are elements of the ring, and the addition is commutative, so I can rearrange this using associative property. I can add A plus B, say minus A dash plus B dash belongs to I. And whenever we have X minus Y belongs to I can write I plus X is equal to I plus Y by the properties of cosets. So I plus A plus B is equal to I plus A dash plus B dash. So I'm using this result again and again for cosets. I mean, this result we can write in terms of cosets of rings like this. I plus A is equal to I plus X is equal to I plus Y if and only if X minus Y belongs to I. So it is similar to this this result. So this is proved. The first result is proved that I plus A plus I plus B is same as I plus A dash plus I plus B dash, because by our definition we know that this thing is nothing but I plus A plus I plus B, and this is by definition I plus A dash plus I plus B dash. So the operation of addition of cosets in R mod I is independent of representation. The same way I want to prove that the result is true for multiplication also, that is it is valid operation in case of multiplication. So let us start with the thing to prove I plus A into I plus B is equal to I plus A dash dot I plus B dash. Okay. To prove this thing, let us first of all write down the meaning of this, that is I plus A dot B is equal to I plus A dash dot B dash. Okay. To prove this, let us start with say, so I start like this. Say we have say I plus A is equal to I plus A dash. So I can write that this implies A dash belongs to I plus A, because A dash always belongs to I plus A dash. You know that every representative element or the leader of the coset belongs to the coset. You know this result. A always belongs to HA. So A dash always belongs to I plus A. So I'm using this fact. And A dash belongs to I plus A. I can write A dash is equal to X plus A. So this is my result number 1. Same way, we also have I plus B is equal to I plus B dash. So we can write B dash belongs to I plus B. B dash belongs to I plus B, and therefore B dash we can write as, say, something in I plus B for some, say, Y belongs to I. Here is also I should write that some X belongs to I. This is true for some X belongs to. All elements of I plus A are of the form something plus A, where that something belongs to I. The same way we can write this here. That is my result number 2. Okay. What I want to find is A dash into B dash from 1 and 2. So if I multiply these two, therefore A dash into B dash. A dash is X plus A and B dash is Y plus B. So if you multiply these two elements, this is we are writing because of 1 and 2. Because of 1 and 2. So this gives you X into Y, just using the distributive property, plus X into B plus A into Y plus A into B. So what I have proved is A dash B dash is equal to this. And this implies I can rewrite this as A dash B dash minus A into B is equal to XY plus XB plus A into Y. Here all elements belong to the set I, because we know here X belongs to I and Y belongs to I. So this belongs to I. And remember the fact that I is an ideal. So first of all, this element, the first element belongs to I, and B belongs to I, because B belongs to, sorry, X belongs to I and B is any element of the ring. So this belongs to I. This belongs to I, because you know X belongs to I and B is any element of the ring, then X into B also belongs to I by definition of ideal. Same way, Y belongs to I and A is an element of the ring, so this element also belongs to I. And I is a group with respect to addition, so this plus this plus this, that is this whole right hand side, this element belongs to I. Okay, so that means we have proved that A dash B dash minus A into B belongs to I. But if A dash B dash minus A into B belongs to I, we can say immediately that this means I plus A dash B dash is equal to I plus A into B by the properties of coset. So thus we have proved that I plus A dash into I plus B dash is equal to I plus A into I plus B. So these two things shows that the definition of sum and multiplication, addition and multiplication of cosets is independent of representation of the cosets. So it is a valid definition. So with respect to these two definitions, of addition and multiplication, we are going to prove that the set R mod I is a ring. Okay. So let me write down the statement. It's a very important type of ring which we are going to use later on, which is so my next aim is to write this statement as a theorem. Let R plus dot be a ring and I be an ideal be an ideal in the ring R. Okay. Then we define two binary operations. Two binary operations. Addition, which is denoted by the symbol plus, and multiplication, denoted by dot, in the set R mod I, which is given by a set of all cosets I plus A, where A belongs to R. Okay, we define two binary operations in this set as follows. And these two operations we have already proved that they are independent of representations of the cosets. So the first operation of addition, I am writing like this. Say for I plus A and I plus B belong to the set R mod I, we define addition as say I plus A plus I plus B is equal to I plus A plus B. Okay, and the second operation of multiplication of cosets, denoted by dot, is defined as I plus A dot I plus B is equal to I plus A dot B. Okay, this we are defining for all elements I plus A, I plus B in the set R mod I. Then prove that this new set R mod I is a ring with respect to prove that the set R mod I, okay, is a ring with respect to this addition and multiplication. Okay, so it is a simple exercise just to check all the conditions of ring. So we are not going to discuss this in detail. What is my aim is to mention some important facts about the ring R mod I and also take some example of quotient ring, how one can construct quotient ring and prove that it is in fact a ring. So just we'll assume this proof is left to you to verify all the 8 conditions of ring. So just mention that in the ring R mod I plus dot, the zero element is I plus 0, that is equal to I. You can check this element works as a zero element because if you take any coset or any element of say R mod I, and that is a coset, and add this I or I plus 0, then you will get I plus A plus 0, which is same as I plus A. So this I plus 0, or simply I, is the zero element of the ring I. Second thing, I want to mention that for any element I plus A belongs to R mod I, belongs to the ring R mod I, its negative, or you can say additive inverse, negative element, that is negative of I plus A is I plus minus A. Okay. When we say minus y is equal to x, that means we should have x plus y is equal to 0. And here it is, because if you add I plus A and I plus minus A, what you are going to get is I plus A plus minus A, and that is I plus 0, which is equal to I. And what is I? I is a 0 element. So this x plus y equal to 0. So y is negative of x. Okay. So y is negative of x. We are using this thing. So another important remark about the quotient ring. What are the 0 elements? Remember, the quotient ring need not have unity. It depends on the fact that the original ring R has unity, then the quotient ring will also have unity. So that is my third remark. If the original ring R plus dot has a unity element, say 1, okay, then the coset I plus 1, this is unity element of the quotient ring R mod I, because if you take any coset I plus A from the ring R mod I, and if you multiply this with the coset I plus 1, what you will get is I plus A dot 1, and 1 is the unity element of the ring R, so A into 1 is A, so this gives you I plus A. I plus A dot I plus 1 is equal to I plus A. And same way you can prove that I plus 1 dot I plus A is equal to I plus A. Okay. So similarly, I plus 1 dot I plus A is equal to I plus A. So this means this I plus 1 is the unity element of the ring R mod I. A very, very important fact. But remember, unity exists in R mod I if the original ring R has unity. Okay. Another important observation is the ring R mod I need not be commutative. It is commutative if the ring R is commutative. So if R plus dot is a commutative ring, then R mod I is also a commutative ring. Because if you take any two elements in the ring R mod I, that is I plus A and I plus B, and if you multiply in this order, I plus A into I plus B, then you can show that it is same as I plus B into I plus A in this manner. By definition of this multiplication, we can write it as I plus A dot B. What are A and B here? They are elements of the ring R, and the ring R is commutative, so I can rewrite this as I plus B dot A. So I am using the commutativity here of the ring R, and that you can rewrite as I plus B dot I plus A by definition of multiplication of cosets. So this suggests that x into y is equal to y into x for all x and y belongs to R mod I. So R mod I is commutative if R is commutative. If R has unity, unity 1, then I plus 1 is a unity of R mod I. If R is commutative, then R mod I is also commutative. Okay. Now let us take some examples of quotient ring, how to construct a quotient ring and prove that it is in fact a ring in that special case. So examples. So first one, let the ring R I am taking as say Z20. So I am taking the ring Z20 plus 20 dot 20, that is the ring of residue classes modulo 20. And you know that elements of this Z20 are class 0, class 1 up to class 19. There are 20 elements in this ring. And you know the operation is addition modulo 20 and multiplication modulo 20 as addition and multiplication in this ring. And let me consider two different examples. So first, say let I is equal to an ideal, say generated by some element of this ring. So let me take I is equal to ideal generated by say 5 for example. Then what are the elements of this ideal? You can know that this is equal to R into 5, where R belongs to R, which is Z20. Or you can just keep on adding 5 with itself so that you will get the elements, all elements of I. So 5 plus 5, say 10. First of all, 5 plus 0, 5, then 5 plus 5, 10, 10 plus 5, 15, 15 plus 5, 20, and 20 is equal to 0. Okay, so these are the elements of this set. So it is an ideal generated by the class 5. So this is an ideal in the ring R, which is Z20. What we want to find is the elements of the ring R mod I. My question is, what are the elements in R mod I? That is, in our case, it is Z20 mod this ideal generated by class 5. So this is our main question of interest. You know what is R mod I? R mod I is set of all cosets I plus A, where A belongs to the ring R. Okay, so one needs to find all possible cosets of this ideal by taking different elements 0 to 19 of the ring R. So I will be taking the first element, say 0, I plus class 0. You know what is I? Let me write the elements of I again. It contains 0, 5, 10 and 15. So these are the elements of the ideal I. I plus 0 is just here to add all these numbers with 0. So you will get the same set. So it is same as I. Second thing is I plus 1. What is I plus 1? I plus 1 is all elements of the form x plus 1, where x belongs to I. Now x belongs to I means you have to take x equal to 0, class 5, class 10 and class 15. If you put class 0 here, you will get class 0 plus class 1 is 1, class 5 plus 1 is 6, then 10 plus 1 11, and 15 plus 1 is 16. Once we get this, immediately you can say that this right coset is same as I plus class 6. It is also same as I plus class 11, and it is same as I plus class 16. So in order to find the cosets for these elements. Next, if you take I plus 2, what you will get is, say, x plus class 2, where x belongs to I. So what are the elements of this coset? So 0 plus 2 is 2, 5 plus 2 is 7, then 10 plus 2, 12, and 15 plus 2 is 17. Okay, so this is my set I plus 2. Again, since 2, 7, 12, 17 belong to this coset is same as I plus 7. It is also same as I plus class 12. It is also same as I plus class 17. Remember, we are using the fact if B belongs to HA, then HA is equal to HB. Okay. Then I plus class 3 is x plus class 3, where x belongs to I. So I have to take again the elements of I, which are, it is 0, 5, 10 and 15. So just keep on adding 3 to this. So 0 plus 3, 5 plus 3 is 8, then 10 plus 3, 13, and 15 plus 3 is 18. Okay. And finally, I have one more say class here, I plus 4, I plus class 4. It just, you can add 1 to this, or you can add all elements of I with 4. You will get the same answer. So I'm writing directly 4, 9, 14 and 19. Okay. And now no need to find the other classes, because all classes now will be all the cosets will be repeated. This is same as I plus 8. It is same as I plus 13 and I plus 18. This is same as I plus 9, I plus 14 and I plus 19. So all in all, we can have only this many distinct equivalence classes: I plus 0, I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3 and I plus 4. So we have only 5 distinct cosets and or cosets of I in R. S in the set R mod I, we can write I plus 0, I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3 and I plus 4. So we'll get only this right cosets, and we can prove that this is a ring. In fact, we have proved in a general form, but still we want to verify it is a ring or not. And what are the operations here? The operations are the addition and multiplication of the cosets. Okay. So what I want to explain in this example is, first thing is note that the number of elements, this is something very important, number of elements in R mod I is equal to the number of elements in R upon number of elements in I, or you can say order of R upon order of I. That is a better notation. because R is a group with respect to plus, and I is also a subgroup of R with respect to plus. And you know, this is not something called index of the, say, H in G, IGH, you know that symbol. So order of R, that is number of elements in the ring, that is 20, and order of I. What are the elements of I? 0, 5, 10, and 15. So it is having only 4 elements. So number of elements in R mod I will be 5, and we have seen that there are 5 cosets, I plus 0 to I plus 4. So this is a formula to find number of elements in the quotient ring only when this R is a finite ring, okay, as R is finite, okay. And you can make a group tables for the two operations, for these two addition and multiplication. So just I'm showing you, say like this. So let us make a group table. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. First, I am using the operation of addition. We have 5 elements. So I am taking this way. So first 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, this is not required. And here I will be writing the elements, say I plus 0, I plus 1. I will not write the square bracket for simplicity. I plus 3, I plus 4. And here you can write I plus 0 again, I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3, and I plus 4. Okay. Then add all these cosets using the definition of sum of cosets. So I plus 0 is I plus 0. Let me explain one particular case. Say suppose if you have 2 cosets, for example, say I plus 3, and if you want to add with I plus 4, what you will get is I plus 3 plus 4. Okay, I plus 3 plus 4, and that is I plus 7. Okay, but I plus 7 is same as I plus 2, is same as I plus 2. That I can show you in a while, because we have listed all these cosets. The I plus 2 is same as I plus 7. Now how to know this? It's very simple. Okay, our ideal I is generated by 5. So just you mod out this number by 5, and you will get this value. So it is like that. And using this fact, you can fill up all the entries in this table. So what you will get is I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3, I plus 4. When you add I plus 0 to anything, it remains the same coset, because I plus 0, you know, is a 0 element. So nothing to check here. Now I plus 1 plus I plus 1 is I plus 2 as it is. I plus 1 plus 2 is 3. I plus 1 plus 3 is 4. I plus 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay, and I plus 5 is same as 0. So it is I plus 0. So here we are getting I plus 5, but I plus 5 is same as I plus 0. Remember that if you have to be within the set R mod I for the result of the addition, I plus 2 plus I plus 1 here is I plus 3, 2 plus 1 is 3, then 2 plus 2 is 4, then 2 plus 3 is 5, but 5 is equal to 0. So like that. And now 2 plus 4. So I plus 2 plus I plus 4, if you want to find like this, it is I plus 6, but then you can mod out by 5, so it is I plus 1. So this is I plus 1. And now without thinking also, if you understand the pattern, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1. So it is just shifting this way. You can verify. So this is I plus 4. Now if you want to check, I plus 3 plus 2 is I plus 4, then I plus 5, that is 0. Then I plus 3 plus 3, 6, that is 1. I plus 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 is equal to 2. Then again, I plus 0 here, I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3. So this is the multiplication, I can say combination table for the operation of plus in the ring R mod I. So what we have done here is, in R mod I, we have proved that it is a group with respect to plus. Not only a group, but it is a commutative group with respect to plus. And this element is I plus 0 is behaving, this I plus 0 is behaving as the 0 element. This behaving as a 0 element. Okay. You can also find the negative of an element. So for example, if you want to find negative of I plus 3, just search for the element I plus 0, that is 0 element of the ring, and find the corresponding element in that column. So I plus 3 negative is I plus 2 because it is lying at the intersection of these two. So this I plus 3 negative is I plus 0. Okay. And same we can prepare multiplication table. So the next thing is I will prepare the multiplication table to show you. So 1 and this. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and this is 5. Okay. So here I am writing multiplication operation in the ring R mod I, and the elements are written here: I plus 0, I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3, I plus 4. Same way here, I plus 0, I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3 and I plus 4. Okay. Let us multiply these two. So I plus 0 into I plus 0 is I plus 0, 0 into 0, because you know this definition of multiplication of two cosets is given by A plus A into B. So just you have to multiply the leaders. So 0 into 1, here everywhere you will get I plus 0. Okay. Remember, we don't have to prove that it is a group. Just I am showing you how to find all values for the operation of multiplication. And you also want to check something more in this case. I plus 1 into I plus 1 is I plus 1. I plus 2 into I plus 1 is 2 into 1 is 2. And 3 into 1 is 3. 4 into 1 is 4. Same way here. I plus 1 into I plus 2. That is I plus 2. I plus 1. This is fixed. So I plus 3 and I plus 4. So these are all simple things. Now 2 to the 4. I plus 2 into I plus 2 is I plus 4. Then to write down this element, I plus 2 into I plus 3, that is I plus 6. But I plus 6 is same as I plus 1. I plus 2 into I plus 4 is I plus 8. And I plus 8 is same as say I plus 3. Then I plus 3 into I plus 2. I plus 6, that is I plus 1. I plus 3 into 3 is 9, and 9 is equal to 4. Then 3 4s are 12, and 12 is equal to say 2. The I plus 3 dot I plus 4 is actually I plus 12, but you have to mod out by 5, so we'll get I plus 2, because 12 is congruent to 2 modulo 5. Then 4 to the 8, that is 3. 4 3 are 12, so 2, and 4 4 is 16, so it is 1. Okay. From this, if you just remove the elements, the elements in the column and row of I plus 0, of this I plus 0, so if I remove all these elements, what I left with the set of non-zero elements. Now you check that set of non-zero elements forms a group or not. That means I have only I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3, I plus 4. So it is a closed with respect to this operation of multiplication, and because no element is repeated in any row or in any column, so everything is fine. Again, what is the identity element in this case? You can observe that I plus 1 is behaving like an identity element in this case, because I plus 1 into something is equal to something, and something into I plus 1 is also equal to something. So x into I plus 1 is x, and I plus 1 into x is x. So I plus 1 is the unity element here. Just note that. Just a minute. Note that I plus 1 is the unity in this ring R mod I. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to find, say, inverse. For example, if I choose the element I plus 2 here, this I plus 2, and if I want to check what is the multiplicative inverse of I plus 2, then I have to search for the unity element in that corresponding row. So unity element appears in this place, and that I plus 1 here, which is a unity element, and it lies in the column containing I plus 3. So the inverse of I plus 2 is I plus 3, because you can check the other way also, that I plus 2 into I plus 3 is I plus 1, and I plus 3 into I plus 2 is also I plus 1. So from this table, I plus 2 inverse is I plus 3. I plus 1 is a unity. So I plus 1 inverse is I plus 1 itself. Okay, let me write this. Okay, what is left is only the element I plus 4, and I plus 4 into I plus 4 is I plus 1. It is here. So I plus 4 is a self inverse. So I plus 4 inverse is equal to I plus 4. And also this table shows that the operation of multiplication is commutative, because if you take the reflection in the principal diagonal here, it is the same thing, okay, on both the sides. So thus what I have proved is the set R mod I is a group with respect to plus, rather an abelian group with respect to plus. It is also that set of all non-zero elements also has multiplicative inverse, and it satisfies all the conditions of group with respect to multiplication. So I can conclude that the set R mod I, that is in fact a ring R mod I, is a field. This is a field. Okay. Remember, the ring R mod I is not always a field. It depends on the ideal you choose in the ring R. What I had chosen in this case was the ideal I generated by the class phi. Okay. So here our ring was Z20, and the ideal was the ideal generated by this element class phi. And that this ideal has some special properties, and that's why we are getting that Z20 mod class phi, this thing is a field. This is a field. Okay. I can take you can take some other ideal in the ring Z20 and verify that the ring Z20 mod, that ideal need not be a field. Just I am giving a small exercise to check that in this case it is not a field. So check for the ideal I generated by, say, if you take class 4, what are the elements of this ideal? 0 is always there. 4 plus 4 or 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4, 12. 16. And 16 plus 4 is 20. And 20 is 0. So we have only this many elements. For this ideal, that Z20 mod the ideal 4, this is not a field. This is not a field. And also it is not an integral domain. This is not an integral domain. So this will be a simple exercise for you. I can show you that this is not an integral domain because you know what are the 0 elements here. The 0 element in this ring, 0 element is I plus class 0. This is my 0 element of R mod I. Okay, in this case. Now if I take say I plus 2 or yes, if I take I plus 2 belongs to Z20 mod class 4, that element is there, you can verify. Then for this element, I plus 2 is not 0. First of all, I plus 2 is not 0. Not 0 means it is not equal to I plus 0. And I plus 2 dot I plus 2, if you do this way, then you will get I plus 4. And I plus 4 is same as I plus 0. That is equal to, I plus class 0 is equal to 0. So that means here A is not 0 and B is not 0, but A into B equal to 0. That means this ring has 0 divisors. So it is not an integral domain and therefore it is not a field also. Okay. So this is a simple exercise for you to verify for the new ideal I equal to class 4 or ideal generated by the element class 4 is not an integral domain. That this ring, this quotient ring is not an integral domain. So this way we have discussed in detail all important facts about the quotient ring, and this quotient ring is very, very useful for our say advanced topic about this ring theory, and we'll be able to answer under what condition the quotient ring R mod I is a field and under what condition the quotient ring R mod I is an integral domain. As I explained in 2 examples, in this case, when you take I is equal to class 5, this ideal, it is the ring R mod I is a field. But for the ideal I equal to class 4, the ring R mod I, that is Z20 mod class 4, is not a field. So what is the important thing about the ideal? That special property we are going to discuss in our say last topic of this ring theory course. So till then,